And we're live.
Hey.
Good.
Yo.
Glad to hear it. Yeah. Happy fall.
Yeah.
Happy September 21st. It's the best day of the year.
Do you
best day.
remember?
Yep.
Because I do not.
I wish that guy still made his videos. You guys remember those? Those September 21st
I mean,
videos?
how was he supposed to top them? He did like
Yeah.
so many ridiculous ones by the end.
I think he did like 5 or 6 in total, and yeah. Good for him though. It's been a while.
6 sounds about right.
Yeah. John, you were away for a week. What have you been up to, man?
Why wasn't I here last week? Oh, I was streaming. Okay, that's why we were doing the charity stream. That was the only time I could schedule it. Honestly, not much. Just vibing at home for the most part.
Yeah.
Nice and quiet. Otherwise, like it's just been working a lot of working because like we're figuring out when we're doing our charity marathon next year, figuring out like all the trips I have to do later on this year, like stuff's going on. There's no other way to describe it, but yeah.
Nice. What about you, Paul? What's new with you?
Not a whole lot. I went to that wedding on Monday, as I'd said last week, and came back. Well, I was back at work Wednesday, so I just been, getting back into the groove of things and catching up on the couple days I missed. Nothing special.
We've had down here, I guess Oregon's having some fires, and then it got windy and it blew all the smoke down here. So today was the first day after like 2.5-ish days where we could open the windows again because the air quality was so bad. So that was annoying to deal with.
Yeah,
I can imagine.
Other than that, yeah, not a lot going on. I have a fitness competition this weekend that I'm looking forward to doing.
Okay.
Nice.
That should be cool. Sitting is the song of the summer. Put that on the record.
Okay.
For anyone listening and knows what I'm talking about. They already know it's the song of the summer, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw Haunting in Venice. That's a good movie. I would recommend that. You like murder mysteries?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think that's about it. I think if anything else is going on. No, let's do a podcast about video games.
Okay.
Because it's the top perspective on the best day of the year, September 21st.
Sure.
And I'm Sean Booker.
I'm Paul Fleck.
John Wheeler.
And John, you've been playing a lot. What are you playing?
Yeah, so I got a couple weeks to make up for. So I realized I never talked about Bomb Rush Cyberfunk, despite the fact I was playing it a bunch on stream. That game's great.
Yeah.
Do you like Jet Set Radio Future? Because that's just Jet Set Radio Future. It really is.
Yeah.
But with more.
Sure.
But it also at the same time feels like that game made in the late 90s, early 2000s. So if you did not like that, you were probably not going to like this because it very much wears its inspiration on its sleeve.
Yeah.
Isn't this supposed to be a Game Pass game? Is it out on consoles yet?
It is. It came out on Switch first, so I don't know. It was Switch and Steam first, and then after that, I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure it's not because I was looking forward to this and I had to buy it because I was waiting for it.
I was gonna say, oh no, but then I realized the game's like $40.
Yeah,
it's actually
cheap.
surprisingly expensive.
Oh, okay. I thought it was cheap.
No, okay, fair. What? That might be misremembering the price, so don't worry about me.
Yeah, Lineback saying you might be thinking of Hi-Fi Rush.
No,
Hi-Fi was a Game Pass game for sure.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, that was a game. This game it's on Xbox, on consoles. For some reason, I had it in my head that it was coming to Game Pass, but I don't know.
Yeah, not that I'm aware of.
I'm not seeing anything,
like everything does at some point, so maybe.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, this game's cool.
Well, this also seems like your thing.
Yeah, no, I've been well, I haven't been playing it, but I need to go back to it because there's way too much crap out right now.
No, there's too many video games that are out at the moment. It's nuts.
And we're not even in October yet, so
today alone,
it's crazy.
Today alone, DLC for RE4 dropped. The big patch to fix Cyberpunk 2077 dropped, and
no, isn't that the 26th?
No, it's today. The patch dropped. You're talking about the DLC, which is different.
Oh, okay.
And something else released, all on the Payday 3, one of the games I've been waiting 10 years for.
The final episode of the Expanse Telltale series, right?
That's it. That's what he was excited for.
That too.
Nothing else.
Yeah. Yep. like today's been crazy alone. But anyway, yeah, this game is absolutely fantastic. I'm glad you've been playing it because this definitely seems like a game that obviously you.
It's absolutely a game for me. Like I was excited for it, but I was also like nervous about it. I'm like, I haven't heard anything about this in a while. Please don't be bad. Please don't be bad. I'm glad it actually turned out to be pretty decent. But I still have not gotten around to finishing it because, like, again, too many fucking video games have come out, and then I had too many trips all at once because, like, I've been to 2 different cons. I've had just all this other stuff to worry about, so it's not been on my pile for the most part. I haven't touched it in a while because I've been playing F-Zero 99, which I'm currently doing right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I've also kind of
stealth drop.
Doing that too.
Yeah, that was a stealth drop. If you like SNES F-Zero, this is up your alley. 99 player battle royale game where you're all racing the same track, and it's very, very easy to die in this game because boosting takes a lot of health and there's a lot of collisions when you're doing it. It's a little lacking in content at the moment, but it's only been out for like a week, so it's not like it's super mandatory. But it's weird to have a racing game that only has 7 tracks. And for the most part, you only play 2 of them because people keep picking Mute City and Big Blue, and I'm kind of sick of both tracks.
I was gonna ask if like you've been playing a lot, if you start unlocking more and more, because I was just thinking maybe I haven't unlocked a bunch. I'm only like level 8 or something. Like so.
I'm level 10 for reference sake, and I got those levels on stream like Monday. So there's 7 tracks in the game currently. There's Mute City 1, Big Blue, Sand Ocean, Deathwind 1, Silence, Whiteland 1, and Port Town 2.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do a special side mode where you do professional tracks to get access to Whiteland 1 and Port Town 2. And you have to finish a Grand Prix to get the Silence. So that means you have to be like in the top 20 racers by the end of a Grand Prix.
Right, okay.
So it might be a scenario where people they can't pick anything other than...
No. So when you do like the 99 mode, they give you 2 options, but currently it only picks from 4 tracks. Currently only picks from Mute City 1, Big Blue, Sand Ocean, and Deathwind 1. Those are the only 4 you can choose in the 99 mode. If you do Grand Prix, you go in order of Mute City, Big Blue, Sand Ocean, Deathwind, Silence. The only way to get the Silence is to like survive a Grand Prix, essentially. And then there's the side mode it gives you Whiteland and Port Town 2. They have said, apparently on the Japanese site, I think it's next week, they're adding the tracks from the Queen League, so that's 4 new tracks. And then I think they said 2 or 3 weeks after that, they're adding the next tracks from King League. So we're getting tracks soon. They're just, spacing it out every 2 weeks, which is probably a smart thing to do.
Do you think people are picking those 2 tracks because they're in Smash Bros?
No, they're picking those 2 tracks because they're the easiest.
Yeah, it makes sense.
You don't have to really try on Mute City or Big Blue, but you have to try on Sand Ocean and Deathwind.
Yeah.
So
okay. Is this the one we played on TDP Plus?
No.
The SNES one?
This is the no, we did F-Zero X. That was the N64 one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But these tracks are straight out of the SNES one. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
On top of that made me want to play F-Zero GX, the GameCube one. So
because you wrote down G0 GX, and I wouldn't be surprised if there actually was a game called G0 GX. Like,
I was not paying attention to the wrote down games.
You know what I mean? I was curious what that was.
No, this is F-Zero GX. This is the GameCube one. This is the notoriously difficult one. So I had realized I'd never finished the story mode for that game. So I sat down and did it. And wow, that takes a lot of work for 2 reasons. One, the tracks are stupidly difficult because the AI just rubber bands like nuts. You basically have to trick the AI into letting you win. And 2, you have to unlock every chapter by grinding out tickets. And whenever you clear a story chapter, they don't give you enough tickets for the next chapter. So I had to go do other races and other means of getting tickets just to continue the 3 remaining chapters I had left in story mode.
Just like artificially padded out.
Yeah.
It's a bummer.
But I did it. It was very difficult, but I did it. So I can at least say that I've finally beaten that game. Now I'm just working on goofing off in the actual like Grand Prix and unlocking the characters. Because the tickets you use to unlock characters are also what you use to unlock car parts and also story tracks. So I had like no characters unlocked on the roster because I was too busy trying to unlock the story. By the time I was done story mode, I had 7 characters unlocked out of 32. So it was just like, it was dumb. It was really dumb. So now it's like every Grand Prix I run gives me enough for like 2 to 3 characters. I'm like, cool. Now I can actually play as everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other than that, I got access early to Super Bomberman R2, so I was playing that for a bit.
Okay.
And then I did a sponsored segment for it last week. That is Bomberman.
Yeah,
I'd assume so.
sure.
What's new about it?
Yeah, okay. So, do you remember that 64 massively multiplayer game they did that was originally on Stadia and then made it out to Steam eventually?
That's R, right?
That was 64 Battle. So R1 was a launch title for the Switch, and then ended up on every platform after. 64 or 64 Battle, whichever it was called, was a Stadia exclusive, but eventually it moved out to all platforms, and it was their battle royale game with 64 players, but it was free to play. That mode is just in this game now. That's just a mode in the game. They brought back the standard battle mode. They brought back the weird Grand Prix modes they added back in R1's DLC that they added like a year later, like collect all these crystals, like KO your opponent more, and like everyone has special abilities and stuff like that. So all that is like properly in the game. And they added a new mode where you create levels, and then you use the levels to defend your base against 15 other players. It's a 15 versus 1 mode, where the 15 players have to break into your base and steal these treasure chests you have, and you have to just make sure you have one left by the end of the timer.
That sounds cool.
It's neat. It's neat, but it's hectic. It's extremely hectic.
I would assume so.
But like some of the stages people have made online, because you can share the levels you've created, some of them are just super mean and brutal. They're rough.
Well, you have it early, right? So like, who's making these stages?
Other people who got it early, devs, etc.
Yeah.
Now that the game's out, there's like a bunch of high-ranked, like super mean stages and stuff like that.
Oh, I see.
There's still your usual ranking, private matches, etc. So played
it. This came out like a couple of weeks ago.
Last week.
The 12th. Thing.
Yeah, 12th or 13th. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the sponsored segment on Saturday. Had a great time. It was Bomberman.
Nice.
Yeah. Other than stuff I'm playing on stream, yeah, that's all I'm playing.
Paul, anything you want to talk about?
I think I'm almost done. I see the light at the end of the tunnel for Baldur's Gate. I've just got to push a little bit more.
I don't believe you. I
just got to push more. Ugh. It's too long. It's too much. Too much game. I don't like it.
You will never be free of Baldur's Gate. Reese finished her main run, and she's like, well, now I got to do the death run. I got to do the Death Whisper run.
I definitely will play it again with people at some point, because that's going to be a just completely different experience. That's going to be a different game completely. And it won't be as stressful trying to get through it. I think it'll just be like, let's mess around in the game for a little bit and then call it a night or whatever. And that'll be fun.
I'm still in chapter 1, but I've barely been playing it, so.
Yeah. What have you been playing?
I've been I finished up the Expanse, like I said, the 5th episode, which is the last one, came out today. I played through that. I think my overall thoughts on that game is I don't know if I really recommend it. It is pretty slow. There is not a lot going on. It is more just kind of exploring these areas, but I just don't think the story is that gripping. And if you're not a fan of the series, there's kind of less to grip onto because you don't have any like attachment to these characters.
Sure. Yeah, that's
so
fair.
for me, it was good enough. It was it was another Telltale game. I like that formula. I like the Expanse. So it was checking a lot of boxes for me. But unless this is your kind of thing, I don't think it's going to do much for you. So that's a bit of a bummer.
Yeah.
It is also getting like a bonus episode starring someone else. I'm kind of curious how that's going to fit in with anything, but we will see later. And then just checking in, I'm still playing Lies of P. Paul, are you starting this? Did you start it?
No, this is going completely on the back burner. Next up is Payday because I've been waiting a decade for it. So
okay, yeah, because it definitely is out now. It is on Game Pass and everything.
Yeah, I think last week, was it last week or this week? I can't remember. This week it came out fully on Monday.
Yeah, it's Tuesday because that's when I picked up my copy. So
yeah.
This is a Souls game. I don't think you'll be into it, John.
Here's the thing. You're right.
Love parrying.
But
here's the thing. You're right.
I was going to say, this is a fast-paced one, which stamina doesn't seem to be as big an issue, and it seems it's more like I don't want to say sci-fi, but like it's not high fantasy, which is what bores me about Elden Ring and the Dark Souls games. Like it
That's
looks
fair.
more steampunkish, which I think is interesting. So
It is
aesthetically, I find
steampunky.
this interesting. Whether or not I will
Yeah.
enjoy playing it might be a different story. But watching it, like one of my streamer friends was playing it, and he seems pretty fast paced. I'm like, this is probably why people kept recommending Bloodborne to me. So
Yeah, because this
I
is
don't know,
Bloodborne. You should probably try Bloodborne as well at some point. You might be into it. It is way faster paced.
I think this is about the same pace as Elden Ring as far as it goes. You do have that like grappling hook that you can use, but you're not using it all the time because you have to switch it out for other arms. Like I have a flamethrower on my arm right now, which is really helpful because I'm in an area that is weak against fire. But yeah, I like the vibe of it, and the whole kind of Pinocchio thing is kind of interesting how they're referencing stuff like that. So, anyways, yes, I continue my way through that game. Slowly but surely. What's annoying is I seem to be going at the same speed as a lot of the guide writers, but I'm like 2 levels ahead.
Oh
yeah.
no!
So I'll be like, I wonder if there was any like side things that I should have been going around and looking for. And it's like, oh, you guys are still not there yet, huh? Okay, well, I guess I'll come back to it when you guys catch up a little bit. Trying to think, where am I? For anyone who is playing it, I just finished in the like decaying area. It's like a good reference point for people without spoiling anything. I just found the merchant where you can sell the like boss souls thing to get like their special weapon. I just finished that area. So if anyone is playing it, that should tell them quite a bit where I'm at. And then along with Liza P, I am still playing Starfield. I don't really have much more to say about it. I continue on with that game.
Sure.
You have so many long games going on at once, man. Damn.
It's yeah.
Well, Starfield's actually not that long. If you just
Is it
mainline
really not?
If you mainline it, it's not very long. I'm not mainlining it. I'm doing all the faction quests, so it is going to be taking me longer. But I think it is closer to like an 8-hour game if you just do the main story.
Did you say 8?
Yep.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems probably about right.
That's wild.
I'm still enjoying Starfield. I have a shotgun that kills almost anything in 2 hits. So I'm just running shotguns constantly. So yeah, I'm having a good time with that for sure. But the new thing I've been playing this week is it finally moved up in the queue on my co-op games. I'm playing Redfall.
Okay.
Oh,
and I'm enjoying it quite a bit.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, it's a co-op loot shooter, which checks a lot of boxes for me, and you get powers. So, like, it's basically kind of like Borderlands without the like comedy in quotes, right?
Sure.
So your favorite part of Borderlands?
Yeah. So this one, yeah, I like the missions are pretty unique. I haven't done a lot of like repeated stuff. The different vampires are kind of cool that you're fighting, and having to like stake them or use like light-based weapons on them to petrify them is interesting and whatnot. I have had some bugs. I've had it crash once or twice. My co-op person or my friend who I'm playing co-op with is constantly just like floating, at least from my view. But in terms of just like the beat-to-beat gameplay, yeah, I'm having a good time with it, and I'm liking the unique kind of set piece missions that they keep sending us on. And I also think the gunplay feels pretty good, and the powers you get are also pretty good. What's the guy's name? I think his name is Devinder, because there's like 4 specific characters you pick, much like Borderlands. And my guy has like an electricity javelin that he throws, and it just shocks around the area. And then you get a lot of powers that, like, if you're using it, it'll like help out your teammate. So if me or my teammate are near my electric javelin, our guns now start shooting electricity. My buddy has a like ghost elevator that he can summon and launch us both into the air. So yeah, no, I'm having quite a good time with it. We're about to hit the halfway point. I think there's like kind of 2 maps, and we're about to finish the first map.
Cool.
But yeah, that's Redfall. And it's funny though, you still load it up and it says like, "Hey, thanks for joining us at the launch."
Oh,
it's like the most recent like bit of like news thing on there. So they clearly have not really updated it much. I'm very curious what the trajectory of that game is going to be. All right, let's do news because some crazy stuff happened this week. I was trying to collect it all, but then Kotaku just put a nice organized article together. Did you guys follow all of the Xbox leaks from the FTC?
No.
I heard some of this, but I did not get all of it. So what in the world is going on here now?
Okay, so as you know, the Activision buyout, FTC, that whole thing, Microsoft had to submit a bunch of files and stuff that were redacted for a lot of things. I guess though at some point this week, a bunch of that information leaked during like the last portion of here's the things that were submitted to them. And the FTC says like, hey, we didn't leak it. Like it was Microsoft that uploaded this stuff. They didn't redact it properly, blah blah blah. So it's unclear exactly like who's at fault. Someone's definitely getting fired though with the nature of these leaks. But Kotaku has this like 11 big reveals, and I think we should just go through them one by one because they're all worth talking about.
Okay.
I'll just go in the order that the article has it. So keep in mind, a lot of these emails and documents we're going to be talking about are from like 2020, 2019 to 2021. So things could have changed. And they're somewhat taken out of context since a lot of these emails, good portions of them are redacted. So we're only kind of getting like a snippet of a 3-year-old idea, basically. So keep that in mind when we go through these things. First off, there was an email exchange where Microsoft was considering purchasing Nintendo.
As you do.
And specifically, somebody was asking Phil Spencer, hey, how come we're not looking into purchasing Nintendo? And this email is Phil basically being like, hey, yeah, that would be a great idea. Here's a few reasons why it's not exactly realistic, but I agree. I would love to own Nintendo.
Sure.
And some of the quotes here, getting Nintendo would be a career moment. It's just taking a long time for Nintendo to realize that their future exists off of their own hardware. A long time. Smiley face.
Well, I mean, there was that story where, like, they said they wanted to buy Nintendo, and Nintendo laughed at them until they left the room.
But that's like before the Xbox original existed. Like that's an old story.
Right.
Yes.
But like all of this is just like, yeah, of course, this is exactly what capitalism is. It's always trying to reach for the next thing. Of course, they would want to buy Nintendo. They would want to buy Google. They'd want to buy anybody. So of course.
Exactly. It is worth adding on. Pretty much everyone is talking about buying everyone at all times.
That's literally their job.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Exactly. That's capitalism, baby.
That is.
Along with this, they mentioned the thought of purchasing Valve and Warner Brothers games.
Of course.
Was also name dropped in there.
I would love to buy Valve and Warner Brothers games. Of course. Who wouldn't?
I'll get on the horn and do it right now.
Yeah.
It does kind of, raise the question, the Nintendo one specifically, where it's like, I don't think I want Microsoft to own Nintendo, but I would love if Nintendo games ran on Microsoft hardware.
I mean, I don't care if they run on Microsoft specifically. I want them on anything else.
Exactly. Anything other than Nintendo hardware.
Just Nintendo hardware. Yeah. For sure.
I think it is a net negative if Microsoft does buy Nintendo. But I do see some positives for like the player if Microsoft bought Nintendo.
I mean, I've always been of the opinion it's anti-consumerist to keep that shit on one thing anyway. I don't like exclusives like that, but I mean, it's the way the industry has always worked, so.
They also kind of showed off a roadmap of a bunch of Bethesda games. Keep in mind, this is wildly outdated.
Sure.
I'm trying to find the actual image of the whole thing there. Stuff on there was like an Oblivion remastered, Dishonored 3, some things that would like, of course, they would be doing that.
Right.
Let's
see if
there was some like, where's the? Now it's taken out. Now it's gone. Where's that? Where's the picture, man? Come on. Come on, Kotaku. What are you doing?
What are they doing?
Lord only knows.
All right. I have something from Eurogamer here.
Okay.
Is it the one that says console, PC, and F2P mobile? Like the little...
I don't know. Can you drop me the link? See if this is what I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I think I can. Hold on. It's like in the middle of that page. It's an embed.
Yes, thank you. This is what I was trying to look for. So, cool. If you look at the beginning of this thing, it's talking about fiscal year 2020. So this could even be something that came out in 2019. But here's some of the things they had planned. So, things that did come out, like Deathloop, Doom Eternal, all that was there. They had a planned release date of Starfield in 2021. Clearly, that did not happen at this time. Yeah. Redfield was also in there. They wanted the Indiana Jones game to come out in 2022. But things that are very noteworthy, there's a game in there called Doom Year Zero. It's an unannounced game. Theoretically, that's probably still in the works. Sure. Something called Project Kestrel. Again, that's brand new licensed IP game. This is not the Indiana Jones one. Dishonored 3 is there. Ghostwire Tokyo sequel. I don't know if do you guys think that would even happen at this point?
At this point, I don't know.
Probably not.
Yeah. So obviously, Elder Scrolls 6 is on there as well. So Project Hibiki, which I believe that is supposed to be Hi-Fi Rush.
Sure.
So obviously, a lot of these got pushed multiple years, but theoretically, we have a Doom Year Zero coming. And then Fallout 3 Remastered is on there. Of course, Elder Scrolls Online expansion is pretty much on every single one of these.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. So Dishonored 3, that seems like a no-brainer. What do you guys think Doom Year Zero is?
When the portal to hell opens up, or that they discover either them going to Mars and it going to shit, or like hell invading, essentially, probably.
Yeah, you probably don't even play as Doom Guy. You probably play as like the person who kind of sets Doom Guy up. Oh wait, no, because Doom Guy gets revived in Doom 2016, right? Like it's probably like before.
Yeah, they bring him back to life because they're like worshiping him.
Yeah, so it's probably like the piece before that.
Yeah, some kind of prequel for sure. Okay, what's the next one? Actually, what is it? Spencer AAA game publishers lost their mojo. I don't know what this one is. We're going to move on to 3/4 of Xbox gamers had a Series S. We already knew the Series S wildly outsold the X. I don't think we knew it was 75% of Xbox owners have the Series
S.
That's crazy.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It's also worth remembering that fact as we get to something else later on. Let's move on to this. Microsoft dramatically underestimated Baldur's Gate 3. Under the read more, they have a list of so this was under the context of they were aiming for Starfield to drop at a certain point. That got delayed, so they needed to reach out and be like, hey, what can we use to bolster Game Pass because we no longer have Starfield there for the next year?
Yeah.
And they had a list of estimates on here of games and then how much they think those would be worth them spending to get them in there. And there's stuff in here like Lego Star Wars for $35 million. The new Assassin's Creed Mirage, $100 million. Suicide Squad, $250 million. The biggest one is Star Wars Jedi Survivor at $300 million. Some of these definitely did come true. Like they have Gotham Knights on there. I think that comes to Game Pass in like a week or two. But the main title here where they said they wildly underestimated Baldur's Gate 3, that one is valued at $5 million.
Yeah.
Ooh.
To be fair, though, I don't think anyone realized the success Baldur's Gate 3 was going to have, including Larian. They've even come out and said, like, this was unprecedented. We were not expecting to, like, break Steam concurrent records and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it is interesting to see these numbers. And yeah, obviously how much they pay for Game Pass exclusives. All right, back to that Kotaku article. All right, I'm going to move down to the Xbox Series X might go all digital in 2024. This was a pretty big one. So a roadmap popped out showing what Xbox's plans, and actually, if you look at the next link in our note docs, that has all 4 of the images there. They are planning a mid-gen refresh for the Xbox Series S and X. We'll start with the X here, called Brooklyn. that looks like a cylinder, so it's rounded.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth noting that these are not pro consoles. They are more akin to, if you remember on like the 360, when they were like, hey, we should now add an HDMI port to this thing. We should now put the Wi-Fi in the console as opposed to you needing the adapter. So the only actual differences here is increased storage. They have the connectivity of Wi-Fi 6, but the big one is that the new Series X, codenamed Brooklyn, will not have a disk drive. Now, there is also a Series S refresh happening. That's codenamed Elwood. That will still not have a disk drive. So that would mean, theoretically, there won't be an Xbox console with a disk drive next fall, if we go by the dates on this old document.
Right.
Not a fan.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, but remember, 75% of Xbox owners have a Series S.
That is wild to me. Insane.
So, as much as people like to say they still want discs, the data is showing against that. And those people are in the minority. So regardless of what you want, it's happening. Discs are going to go away. It's just what's going to happen. It's going to be like the PC, and people are going to stop selling discs.
Doesn't mean I have to like it.
True.
Yeah. The one kind of note I was seeing in that does make a lot of sense and against this is Xbox is always coming out there and talking a big game about backwards compatibility, and then removing a disc drive goes right against that. But yeah. I see at the same time, like, if you just look at them, that keeps the cost down. Not that these are going to be cheaper; they are going to maintain the same price point. But it means they would get a larger margin on them and make more profit that way. And then alongside that is a new controller that is scheduled to come out this coming spring in 2024, codenamed Sebil.
Sybil?
Sebil, yeah, Sebile.
Oh.
Pretty similar, except what's new with this is that it's a two-tone color they have on this image here, black and white. Improved rumble, so maybe something closer to the PlayStation 5. What's kind of odd about that is, and I think we were like just talking about this recently, Paul, like no one utilizes that rumble except first-party Sony games.
Sure, yeah.
So, I mean, maybe they would if now 2 platforms are utilizing it. Who knows?
Yeah.
But even a lot of Xbox games, like they have the rumble triggers. Those are barely in anything. I only remember those when the yearly Forza comes out, and it's like, oh yeah, the triggers rumble.
Right.
On top of that, there will be like gyro controls in it and a lift to wake feature. So theoretically, lifting up the controller will turn the console on.
Sure.
And again, the planned price points, they had the Sebil launching at the same price point of $70 in May of next year. Then they announced the mid-gen consoles in June, July, so that typical kind of E3 window, with the Series S or the Elwood coming out just before September. Brooklyn, which is the Series X refresh, coming out just before November, so just before Black Friday. And they even have like a bullet point, 60-day separation between the launches, enables dialogue with different audiences. And there's some more bullet points there, but pretty interesting and there's even pictures on here, which I think is pretty wild. Who knows if these are what they still look like, because this was a while back, obviously, but I could see it.
Yeah.
And let's see, the next thing I wanted to go into, and then along with that is details on the next Xbox. With a specific release date of 2028. And so there's very little information about this other than the big info is they would be leaning heavily into cloud. and off-putting a lot of the processing in the cloud, which I feel like we've been hearing for quite a while, all the way back to like Crackdown 3, them talking about we'll put some of the processing in the cloud.
Yeah.
We'll put your drivatars in the cloud, stuff like that. There really isn't much more information than that. Like I said, the release date of being 2028.
Mm-hmm.
And those were kind of like the biggest ones, in my opinion, from this list. Pretty wild stuff. What are your guys' thoughts on these leaks?
As long as they keep releasing stuff on PC, I couldn't give less of a fuck what they do with their hardware stuff. They've been serving me just fine.
Okay. Any thoughts on your end, John?
Dude. Yeah, I know that companies work on these things in advance, like the new versions, like the next line of systems, but it's so weird to already hear them talking about 2028.
Yeah.
Yeah. Phil Spencer came out on Twitter. I'll just read his tweet. It's pretty short here. We've seen the conversation around old emails and documents. It is hard to see our team's work shared in this way because so much has changed and there's so much to be excited about right now. And in the future, we will share the real plans when we are ready. So I am very curious to see kind of what ends up being as like what's accurate, what's wildly different.
Yeah. I definitely think the no hard drive or disk drive, no disk drive, is probably the way most things are going to go, which,
yeah,
like, again, as a PC user, I totally understand because that's what I basically do, but I don't like buying consoles without a disk drive. There's something about it that doesn't feel right to me. Like, I wasn't going to get the PlayStation 5 version without a disk drive, so...
You have a Series S, though.
That I got as a gift, yeah. I wouldn't have bought one for myself because, like, I don't know, I play most of those games on PC anyway. It's nice to have, of course, but I don't know. There's something about not having a disk drive on a console that doesn't sit with me personally well at all.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
But, like, yeah, I think it's just got to be like an old mentality because we've always had a disk drive until the Series S and the diskless PS5, right? I'm trying to think, was there anything else that didn't? The PSP
really.
Go?
Yeah, that's like the only experiment, and even then...
It failed.
It made sense. It was a handheld.
Yeah.
Well, and also it failed. That, I mean, besides that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess, like,
people are saying...
Sorry, go on.
There was the Xbox S all digital.
The SAD, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There was that.
I forgot about the SAD.
Yeah. I mean, like, I even look at my consoles. They both have disk drives. I paid the extra $100 to get the PlayStation 5 with the disk drive. I've maybe put a disc in it, like, one game. I might have one game, like, physical game. And the Xbox, I think the only thing I put in there is Rock Band.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, like, I don't even like movies. I usually get the version with the digital thing, so I have it on my Apple account, and I just load that one up instead of putting the disc in.
I think part of it is definitely, like, I still like the idea that I could, like, go to John's house and give him a disc, and we could play the cool game I just got, like, right away. Well, after he downloads a 20 gig patch or something, probably.
Yeah, so you couldn't even do that.
But, like, there's still kind of that there also. It's going to sound really bad to say, but on PC, if they ever take away something that I want to get back, I know I could pirate it easily. And in a closed system like a console, like, it would be nice to just know that if I buy something, I could at least revert back to, like, the 1.0 version of it at some point. I think that's kind of...
Well, I don't even know because so many games, even single player games, have to connect to a server now. Like, they're online connected.
Yeah. Basically, it's
Sean is right. There's eventually going to be a point where we can't, like, discs are just done. As a collector, I know this is an inevitability. There's no way around it.
Absolutely.
The market's been pushing for this for how long now?
Sure. And I don't use discs, but I think it's a bad way that our future is going.
I think it's unintentionally anti-consumer, but, like,
yeah, that's
a different argument.
That's the way I feel as well.
If the rumors of the PlayStation Slim with the attachable disk drive is true, I think that's a great way to do it because for years now those discs are not spinning. they're doing the PC thing of they're doing a check,
Yeah.
and then they're just downloading the thing onto the hard drive. So if you just had something that you don't even need like a fast connection, just for it to like check every like 30 seconds, 2 minutes to be like, is there a disc still in there? Yeah, we're good. Keep playing it off the hard drive. Then maybe that's a way of doing it, but
yeah, but what if
time,
the
I'm
game
sure,
was on a disc that you could just play? What if? Yeah, no, I know.
If
I kind of hate the future we're going to, just because I keep seeing like, oh well, they lost the rights to that, so that just doesn't exist anymore, or like that somebody got offended by this episode of this show, so that doesn't, like, it's, I don't like this digital future that we're going to. It's terrifying in a way that I didn't really consider until kind of recently this year.
yeah, but it's gonna happen. I mean, like, it's happened to every other bit of media.
Sure, but as the fact that we're talking on a platform here, like, I don't want it to, so I want to say that we shouldn't let it happen, if possible. And then if it happens, it happens, but it wasn't my fault because I tried to talk against it.
Well, in that scenario, then
you
need to start buying more physical games. You got to vote with your dollar.
Yeah.
I'm doing enough for him, honestly, at this point. Like, he's covered. I got him.
Well, I
kind of just don't want to.
Enough because everyone's moving this way. So
I kind of just don't want to buy games anymore. It feels like I'm buying games all the time. I'm just kind of done.
It really does feel like that at the moment.
Just let me play the games I have.
Just take a year off from releasing any video games. Let people get caught up on their backlog, and then
take 2 years off. Make that next game really good. Ugh.
And then this last little bit of news is totally separate from Xbox, but I wanted to put it in here because it was kind of funny. The Division 3 was technically announced today via a press release where Ubisoft was talking about this person's new title. I'll just read the blurb pretty quick here. So September 21st, best day of the year. As part of Ubisoft's ongoing commitment to grow its globally recognized brands, Ubisoft is happy to announce that Julian Gertie has been appointed as the new executive producer for the billion-dollar brand Tom Clancy's The Division. As executive producer, Julian Gertie will oversee the Division games and products, including Tom Clancy's The Division 3, led by Massive Entertainment, who is actively building a team for the game. So that is your announcement that The Division 3 is a real game now.
Oh, that pisses me off because I love The Division. So the fact that I'm hearing about it right here in this blurb is really annoying.
Well, and then Kotaku had a pretty great headline where they're like, you can add this to the list of unreleased Division games because they have 2 other Division games in the pipeline right now. There's the mobile free-to-play one, and then there's that like Division Homeland thing that was announced as well. So there's 3 Division games happening right now.
Yeah. Man.
And I say that as someone who quite likes The Division.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a weird way to announce a game.
Yep. True.
With that, let's do some news. Nope. That was the end of the news. We're going to do some questions.
More news. More news for the news gods.
Let's go back to the beginning. Did you guys hear about this Xbox stuff?
No, tell me about it.
Tell me more.
Oh, there's like a bunch of new boxes coming out. One's like a cylinder. It looks like an Amazon Echo.
One's not a box at all.
One's just a concept. Yeah. Okay, Top Down Perspective at gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, John's P.O. Box. Those are all ways you can send questions in, and you could sound like Kevin, who technically asked 3 questions, but they're kind of all the same questions. Because they all have the same answer, so I'll just read them quickly. Is a graphic novel a comic?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Is a comic a graphic novel?
Yes.
Well,
okay, graphic novel usually dictates that it's like of a certain length.
Yeah, so maybe
I guess
not?
the answer is no to this one.
It depends, but yeah, I guess not.
Your standard like X-Men comic, no, that wouldn't be a graphic novel, but it was like 10 volumes bound together, then it's a graphic novel because it's of the size of a graphic novel. Graphic novel implies like...
Is a trade like 4 issues? Is that a graphic novel? I would say yes.
I would argue yes.
Yeah. Okay, is a manga a comic? Yes.
Yeah, yes. Of course.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay. Ahiave says Baldur's Gate 4 has finished production. Oh God, please no. Has finished production and the final trailers are shown. To much fanfare, there's a sequel scenario to the bear romancing incident.
Is that an incident? I didn't hear anyone saying anything negative about that.
Yeah, incident probably isn't the correct term. A different company also announces their own game, Life of a Bear Simulator 2033, releasing a week before Baldur's Gate 4. Disney, sensing a new meta, calls Marvel and asks them to commission a game studio. They want an action RPG where the protagonist has bear-like powers, has a companion bear, or is somehow bear-related. On a slightly unrelated note, what guest characters would be great to see in Mortal Kombat 3's Bear Mania DLC? Note that Cocaine Bear and the live-action Winnie the Pooh are already on that list. Yeah,
good gets.
You need that Winnie the Pooh that's in that Blood and Honey or whatever, that horror movie. That's just an easy fit, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Maybe you get the guest character from, is it Tekken?
Yeah. Kuma.
Yeah. Okay.
There's two bears, isn't there? There's a
Kuma
polar bear?
and Panda. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, Panda, not a polar bear. Right. Okay.
The 3 bears from Goldilocks. That's pretty good.
Bear Hugger from Punch Out. We'll just cheat.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Do they have to be like? Could you do like a Care Bear? Because then you can get some like powers in there.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, you gotta have some projectiles. It's Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. So then it's shooting off like, I don't know, hearts. It has been a long time since I've seen anything Care Bears.
Yeah, that's fair. You put Paddington in there somewhere?
Yeah, oh, okay. Okay. And he could like throw marmalade sandwiches.
Yep.
That would be great. And I would love it that like while you're like attacking, he just at random intervals like apologizes.
That would be pretty good.
He's just like, oh gosh. Oh man. I'm sorry.
What a question.
All right, next one from Rasterman. You've had a bad day. Your boss yelled at you. It rained as you were getting back home. Your peers there weren't in a great mood to welcome you either. And one of your online submissions you spent a lot of time on has been flat out rejected without feedback. How do you lift your spirits up?
It's messed up.
A. Oh, this is a multiple choice question, by the way.
Yep.
A. Go for a walk. B. Exercise. C. Sleep. D. Cook. E. Watch a movie or TV series. F. Play video games. G. Meditate. H. Go out with friends. I. Call someone. J. Pray. K. Listen to Top Down Perspective. L. Eat M. Oh, sorry. Eat. M. Do R. I just look. I was so confused. Yeah. L. Eat. M. Do art. N. None of the above.
And none of the above.
None of those? So what would you do then, Paul?
I usually just veg with a podcast. Like, I just...
okay.
Yeah.
And so basically K, but just not us.
Honestly, yeah. There's no way I'm listening to this shit. Are you kidding me?
There's no way I'm listening to the show. No.
I'd probably would do E, watch a movie or TV series, or F, play video games.
I could see me doing those two, actually. That's true.
Yeah, those two would be good. If it's right after I got home from work, then it is 100% going to be B, because that's when I go to the gym.
Sleep might also be one I pick too, because sometimes I'll just
actually,
crash nap.
if it's like immediately after getting, then I'm eating. But in just in terms of like increasing my mood, like if I haven't gone to the gym yet, I'm probably going to the gym.
Yeah, fair.
Phantom Aegis writes, do you prefer symmetrical or asymmetrical sticks on your controller?
I guess I never really thought about it.
I
thought you were a big fan of the PlayStation one.
I am. I guess I'm fine with that. But the thing I like about the PlayStation controller is the D-pad. Because I don't use a controller for games that use a lot of like camera movements. That's what keyboard and mouse is for me.
So you want symmetrical sticks then?
Yeah, sure. Probably.
John?
I have never thought about this, and I probably don't care if I'm being real. Like, I'm using a
I
Switch
like
controller right now, and that's asymmetrical. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same with the Xbox, and that's the one I prefer because then my fingers or my thumbs are in the place where they're like where they need to be most of the time.
like honestly, like a PlayStation controller and an Xbox controller feel the same to me for the most part. Sorry. Minus like the PlayStation controllers used to be like the sticks were convex, I guess. They stuck out, so it was really hard to get a
Oh,
grip on them.
yeah.
And they fixed that in what, like the PS4? Like when they fixed on the PS4, like I'm like, this is
Yeah, I
great.
think so.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't matter. They fixed the issue I have with it. Like either one's comfortable.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean they're both comfortable. I think I like the asymmetrical because then my thumbs are in like the default position for most of the time.
Suku writes, surprise! Nintendo has come to TDP for ideas. Greedy for more
Why?
ways to turn greedy for more ways to
Really
turn their
smart.
games into battle royales, they look to you to submit ideas. What Nintendo-owned games would you turn into a 99? How viable would it be?
I would love to see a Punch-Out 99.
That'd be pretty okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so how would that work? Is it just like one-on-one fights and you keep like tournament, like bracket tournament style?
I think like it kind of works like Mario 35 did, where when you defeat certain boxers, they get sent to your opponent's game,
Okay.
and you just have to fight multiple boxers, and just the more boxers you have to deal with, the harder it gets.
Okay.
I think there's ways of doing it. It just would be difficult. But also, I would just really like for Mario 35 to come back, because that was my perfect 99 game.
That was good, yeah. Nintendo owned 99.
Okay, what about Elite Beat Agents 99.
Okay.
And as you're doing good, you are sending more button inputs to other people.
Oh God.
Yeah,
So
that could
eventually
work.
you are just like mashing the buttons and you have to be making sure you're doing them in order.
That could work. It would be a pain in the ass, but that would work.
Someone in the chat, Duck Hunt 99? Would that just be a shooter? Or are you just shooting the other players?
It's like a
Yes.
competition where you just have to shoot more ducks, really. So, and like whenever you shoot a duck, it sends like maybe a fake duck or a negative power up to the other player.
Okay,
And
sure.
there's ways
Yeah,
it could
yeah.
work.
Hmm.
See, the thing I like about F-Zero 99 is it is like truly battle royale where you're all on the same map interacting, and it's not just here's the game you're used to and you're playing you're playing asynchronously basically and just sending stuff to a different game where someone else is, but you're not actually like interacting directly with them. I think I prefer the F-Zero style.
Hmm.
You know they did a multiplayer Crossy Road and they have it like in arcades, but that's like 2 players. That would be cool if they just did a really wide one and you're like all on the same one and you could bump into each other.
Hmm.
That'd be a fun one.
That could be fun. All right, last question from Hebrew Lantern. If you had to pick one game that everyone had to play, what would it be and why? Tetris.
Yeah, Tetris. Unless we're talking about people that already game, in which case, like...
It's everyone.
Yeah, so it's Tetris, because that's the game
Yeah.
anyone can play.
But if we have to split it down for casuals, Tetris, for hardcores, Cave Story?
Why Cave
Okay.
Story?
I just really like Cave Story. It's like such a solid Metroidvania that like one dude did. It has like a nice, very challenging gameplay, a bunch of hidden stuff that changes how the ending goes. Like basically, you can scale a game and get whatever ending you want based on what ending you want. So
I think every person that plays games should try a Souls game at some point. And that's easy now. Because there's so many of them.
because they're
So which one?
everywhere.
I mean, probably at this point, I mean, the answer is Elden Ring, but I would
Yeah,
rather
I
people
think so,
play
too.
an older one because then they could appreciate Elden Ring more for how much better it is.
Sure. Yeah. But from my arguably limited scope, it does seem the most approachable.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, a lot of people said it was like one of the easier ones.
It is, yeah, probably one of the easier ones. Yeah.
I just mean from a like, you can go do something else if you're stuck. As I'm seeing in Lies of P over and over again, it's like, well, my options here are grind. Because I cannot go anywhere else.
Grind or get good.
Yep. My answer is Journey.
Yeah, Journey's good.
Ooh.
I think that would be. I think anyone could play Journey. And I think like visually alone, people would get something out of it, and it would probably change a lot of people's ideas on what games are.
I think like a Katamari would be good too. Just throw somebody in a Katamari.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be another fun one, yeah.
The one negative I have towards Katamari is it is not the like easiest to control.
Yeah.
Like even as someone, I don't know if you know this, I play a lot of video games. I'm pretty good at controlling a game character.
Sure.
It's not easy to control the Katamari. Like it is designed to be cumbersome.
I think, well, it's not as cumbersome as much as designed for people who have played games before.
Yeah.
It's got like weird tank controls and you're getting knocked around. Like, you know, so yeah, it's designed to be like a little tedious at the beginning there because of the, you know, the concept.
What if we go like the opposite way? What's that game, The Hole? Donut County? Is that
Donut County?
Yeah, let's go the opposite way. Yeah.
That's a super easy game. Like anyone can play that.
It's fun too.
And then, so part of me like would think like, okay, so then could you do Untitled Goose Game? But I think that one's too hard.
Like for everybody. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, that game is basically like Hitman Jr.
Right.
So. Hitman, though, that's a great game.
Yeah.
That recent trilogy? Oh, man, that's a great trilogy.
Yeah.
John, weren't you like just playing that?
Hitman?
Yeah.
I played it for the charity event, yeah.
Okay.
That was my first time properly playing Hitman.
Oh, which one did you play? Wow. Just the first of the new trilogy?
Hitman 1. I did Italy? Sicily, I think, whatever the name of that area is. It's like
did you do the tutorial?
I did the tutorial like last year.
Oh, okay.
I've literally only played it during these charity events for like 30 minutes, so.
I think you'd really like Hitman.
I know people tell me that a lot, and the bit I played digging into it today seemed so fast, or last week or whenever, it was so fascinating.
Yeah.
Because it was like, okay, here's all like the different things you can do that will kill off this player, and it's like, oh, so there's like, I'm gonna go make sure this guy like dies like crying his dead like wife's like grave.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
It is like, it's also like really funny in like a
it
very,
does seem
like,
very funny.
Yeah. Those are cool games for sure. All right. Thanks everyone for writing in. topdownperspective@gmail.com is the email address for next time, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. What is your game of the week?
Baldur's Gate.
F-Zero GX.
And mine is Lies of P.
Nice.
Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.